welcome to Sunday Morning Quarterback with Jay Stockwell and Bob Frady. Vince Ferragamo, welcome to Sunday Morning Quarterback. It's such an honor for me. I grew up in Nebraska, a little town called Hardington. I was 12 years old when you were the quarterback at Nebraska. Literally, I was baptized in Nebraska lore when you were the quarterback, and I followed you basically my whole life. What an honor and pleasure to welcome you to this podcast. And I just want to get your gut reaction from what you saw today. And we're not gonna bias you with any of our views up front, but from the perspective, first of all, wait, one question. Do you have any eligibility left? Could we maybe...
Yeah. Okay. That's a great introduction. I'm telling you, I'm so old, man. You wouldn't want me in there for sure. But I'm not great to be on.
Well, no, we might. Hey, wait, Vince, can you catch a snap? Can you catch a snap?
Don't bias the well there, Stockwell. Let's hear from Vince.
Yeah, well, he's hitting the notes. He's hitting the quarterback notes. I'm telling you right now, Bob, because Jay's right on. My reflections on the game today from Colorado, coming into this game, Nebraska's had a long history of wiping out Colorado. Doesn't matter what type of teams they had, we beat them every time. And I understand it was a sellout crowd. It was the first time in probably 25 years that Colorado's had a sellout crowd. But I think these are my reflections on the game. I look at the first two games, the Minnesota game. I know Marcus Satterfield is trying to do his best there, but why do you call 3 passes when you're up by 7 points with 12 and a half minutes to go? Let's get back to Nebraska football. Run the ball down their throat.
Amen.
Game over. Okay, that's one thing. Why do you, on 4th down and 1 or 2 at midfield today, when you're still in the game and you got to get the first down, why do you go to a zone read from the shotgun formation? What's going on with the play calling? I mean, I hate to put blame on anybody, but I really think that coaching is a vital part of this game. And you can see primetime what he's done with his coaching staff, what he's done. Yes, he's come in with the transfer portal. He got guys that want to come play. He says, we coming. Yes, they're coming. And they have a lot of talent. They have a lot of talent there. And I have to say one thing about this team, the Colorado team. I mean, that's the talk of the town. They've captured the entire sports world, okay? Because to coach your son at a collegiate level like this is virtually impossible. It's tough. And he's done it his whole life. He started when the kids were young and they grew up together. He went to Jackson State. He comes here. He's got his plan. That team has fight. That was Nebraska with Tom Osborne years ago. We had
right.
We'd fight to the end. They will fight. They did it last week against TCU, and they did today. Nebraska's defense was playing really good. I think one of the best secondaries I've seen Nebraska have in a long time. I mean, you got to go back to Dave Butterfield, and and Burrow, and that type of secondary. But man, these guys can cover, and they had their work cut out for them today. And in the first half, it was even.
Rule comes in, and 90% of everything I'm seeing from Matt Rule, I love. Yeah. Okay, but they let Casey Thompson go in favor of Jeff Sims, who's got the highest turnover ratio of any player in the FBS. So at Georgia Tech, 23 games, 25 interceptions. All right, and in the first 6 quarters of Nebraska football this year, 7 turnovers. Yes. They seem to have made a major personnel misjudgment here. Would you have benched him in the first half after the first couple of turnovers? How as a quarterback, based on your experience, would you have handled that situation?
Well, I know what Tom Osborne would have done. He would have been out.
Let's hear it.
He would have been.
Yeah.
He would have been out. And, let's just put the thing about Casey Thompson. Yeah, I talked to Tommy Heiser, who I threw to at college, as a great wingback. I mean, he's been following Nebraska football. He's a season ticket holder. He goes to all the games. He's the doctor of the team. But, he was telling me when Matt Rule sat down with Sims and Thompson, and, he explained to him, I'm going to a running quarterback. Well, that just threw out Casey. I guess Casey decided, I got to leave. This is not going to be my style of football. So he left. Yeah, he was a quality quarterback. But now you have to build the team around Jeff, and you know what? He's a running quarterback. He's a running quarterback, like Tommy Frazier. Run the ball. I mean, when they ran the ball with him, but when they try to get clever and there's a communication breakdown, obviously. There's no coordination with the motion back when they're snapping the ball. That's all handled by the quarterback, okay? That should not happen.
Yep.
Those kind of things cannot happen. The ball snapped direct.
You know,
he drops the ball. So, I mean, he's not ready to play. He's not ready to play. I'm just saying.
We called out the same thing last week with the throwing the 3 passes. We get the first one, you take your shot. But you're right. You know, for a little while there, they were playing some 90s Nebraska football, whereas, you know, his option reads and just pitch the ball, and they get away from that. Do you think that maybe they just don't have faith in the other quarterbacks? That's why they're sticking with Sims so long?
Well, you have a tendency, actually, Bob, you got to stick with the guy that's QB1, right? And that's the guy coming into camp. He left spring ball, QB1, and this is the guy they're going with. You have the whole year to work with the guys that you have to know mentally, physically, fight-wise. Do they have the stamina? Are they going to go out there? I mean, Tom Osborne and Corrigan and those guys, when I was there, it's just like, if you turn the ball over, man, you're out. You can't turn the ball over. I mean, they were sticklers on that. You just lose.
Yeah.
And I feel embarrassed because I watched this game and I'm going, Colorado cannot do this. I mean, they're a good team, obviously. They have a good team, but shut them down. Their defense, you can't keep a defense on the field. I don't care how good they are forever. They're gonna break down eventually. And I'm telling you what, the best quarterback in the country right now is Sanders for Colorado.
Yeah, I agree.
He does everything right. When you look for a quarterback, I'm telling you, this guy, he's got poise in the pocket. He knows when has to move. He's very in control. He drills the pass if he has to move. He's a thrower first. He's not a runner first. That's what makes him so great. And he's got great leadership. He's going to stay in there. I don't care what the score is. If they're down by a score, they'll come right back and put another touchdown, drive together. So this guy is talented. He comes from great lineage. That's a tough team they were up against. But you know what? They came in, and I have to say, Matt Rule has done a pretty decent job. I mean, he's got some good schemes together, but I don't know what's going on with the rest of the coaching staff. Be honest with you.
Look, I'm encouraged by Matt Rule. We're going to stick, keep the faith with the guy as we can. But boy, oh boy, have they learned a lot in the last couple of games. All right, so let's in terms of game recap, we'll kind of put that behind us. Take us back to happier times, Vince. But you're from Torrance, California. You started out elsewhere. Tell us about how you got recruited and how you came to Nebraska, and then your time there, and then kind of walk us through your professional career. I mean, and just looking at it on Wikipedia, really awesome professional career for a long time. So can you just kind of take us through that sort of snapshot of your life?
It was tumultuous in the beginning when coming out of high school. I was highly sought out after. Stanford was recruiting me, Nebraska, Cal. There was a lot of schools. I decided I was going to go to Stanford. It turned out I ended up going to Cal right at the last minute. After 2 years, I put us on.
Did you make like a wrong turn in San Jose or something? You just took this highway instead of that highway?
No, I found my way there. But it was a whole different experience for me. I mean, I went from one of the most liberal schools to one of the most conservative schools. But I think in those days, we didn't have the transfer portal. So I had, after 2 years and they put us on probation, I said, well, here's my dream as a kid growing up in Torrance and in Wilmington, California. I want to go play in the Rose Bowl. I wasn't going to get that chance. So I decided to leave. I made my first contact to the University of Nebraska. They said, okay, well, if you want to come, you want to try your luck here, come on over and we'll put you on a baseball scholarship and see what happens. And that's what happened. I transferred to Nebraska. I was 7th on the depth chart, had to work my way all the way to the top. I think I impressed some of the coaches in spring training and made it to the top. We had Terry Luck, who was our team captain. My first year, he was a 6th-year senior, and he started off the season, and we tied LSU, and then at halftime, the second game against Miami, they put me in, and it didn't last long. So I mean, when I got in there, things changed. The chemistry was right, the players were ready, I was ready to go, and you always have to wait for your opportunity. And when it strikes, you got to make the best of it. And fortunately for me, I went on and had a great career at Nebraska. I had great coaching. We had a great team chemistry. And
Vince, who are some of the other players on your team that back then in the 76-ish, right?
Yeah,
like who were some of the guys?
We had a great team from offense to defense. Defense, you had Mike Foltz over there on defense. Before that, you had when I was redshirting my first year, you had Tom Rude. You had defensive black shirts. Wonder Mons was a safety. You had Jimmy Burrow.
Wonder Mons.
Yeah. Then on offense, we had Bob Lingenfelter. We had Greg Jorgensen. We had just a great lineup. Running backs, we were full with running backs. Tony Davis, John O'Leary. Wide receivers, Bobby Thomas was as best as they got. I mean, Dave Shamblin.
Yeah.
Chuck Melito, who passed away. Chuck was had great speed. He was from Colorado. He could just get the ball. And, Tom liked to throw the football. So we were a strong running attack. But he saw with the talents we had, and then he said, I'm going to throw the football. And we led the Big Eight in passing, and we made a lot of plays. If it wasn't for us throwing the ball in my senior year against Texas Tech, we beat.
You won that game 27-4,
27-14, and you know who their defensive coordinator was?
Okay.
Yeah, that was Bill Parcells. So Bill Parcells.
Oh my God!
Oh wow!
And he stopped our running game cold. We could not move the ball on the ground. So Tom Osborne was smart enough. He just starts, let's throw it, Vinny, throw it. And it's funny because the day after following that game, the chancellor walked up to Tom Osborne and says, it's a good thing you won that game because I was going to fire you today. And so,
oh, wow.
Yeah, look what Tom Osborne had, a legendary career after that. And so,
so great segue. Just talk a little bit about Coach Osborne.
Yeah.
Bob and I have met him a number of times, just the sweet heart of a guy, but a legendary coach. 250, 553, and 5 national championships. In Nebraska, 3 of them were his. What was he like as your coach?
He was calm, cool, and collected all the time. I can tell you.
Yeah.
They were loyal. The coaching staff was with him for 30 years. They never left.
Wow.
You had the loyalty from within. They built that team on contributions. Guys came in. We had very few guys go make it in the NFL. But everybody was great collegiate players, and they all played together, worked together. It was all through Tom Osborne's hard work. Never used a foul language. We never had personal fouls. I don't think we ever had a personal foul called in a game. We hardly ever jumped off sides. I mean, how many times did Nebraska jump off sides today? It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, okay? You don't do that. The quarterback's got to control that. You got to find the guy to go out there. And it starts from a grassroots effort. And he was always very specially oriented. He always reviewed game plans. His game plans were unique because they were complicated but simple. And he put everything together. We got tested every Friday before the Saturday games. We had to go in and get tested. And we knew it.
Well, hold on. They had an exam for the plays and the
quarterback.
The game plan?
We
had a test?
Tom gave us a quiz. He gave us a test every Friday morning. We went in there.
Wow.
We had to write down all of our plays, down and distance situations. We knew it all. We had to know it all. Football is more a mental game than it is a physical game. I tell it to my grandson a lot, and they're learning that. And I gave them all playbooks, so they're 9 years old, and the parents were looking at me like, "Are you crazy?" No, we're gonna.
Did you use like a little tiny font and have a lot of lines on it, or was it like a big crayon?
9 years old, they got to read it and they got to learn it. I mean, you might as well start learning the game and learn the correct way to run. I mean, a lot of teams just they draw up a play, they hand the ball, or the guy sweeps, or he goes this way or that way. We actually call plays that they will be learning in high school, college, and if they want to go further, they'll learn them in pros. It's the same stuff. So Why not learn it when you're 9 years old? You'll be surprised how much they
So-
can learn.
so-
But that's the way Tom
So
Osborne
Vince,
was.
Stockwell,
Very thorough. I can say, Jay, very thorough. And, if you didn't make mistakes because you were well prepared. Preparation is the key. And I don't think
Vince.
was, you want to
they look like they lack some preparation.
yeah, it's preparation. It's preparation.
So Stockwell is like a puppy right now. He's so excited to meet you. We met you a few years ago at a Holiday Bowl down in San Diego, and he was verklempt. There might be a puddle on the floor where Stockwell is right now. He's so excited to meet you. But let me ask you another couple of questions. Given the liberal protection that quarterbacks get these days, how many yards do you think you could have thrown for a college in this current environment?
Well, the game certainly, Bob, has changed, and it's a lot more pass-happy offense. But you can see in the NFL the importance of the running game, and they put a devaluation of running backs in the NFL. But a running back is a key element to any offense because the offensive lineman, and I do a podcast with Jackie Slater called On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. We do a weekly show, and he continually talks about the offensive lineman teeing off and beating down the pass rush out of the defensive line. And if you don't do it by running the football, you have a very difficult time of sustaining a great pass protection for the quarterback. So you have to be able to do both. You have to be able to run the football, and then the running plays will open up the defense. Some teams are like pass to open up the run, but most of the great teams are run to open up the pass.
Right.
Great teams are like Kansas City. They can throw the run. They throw to set up the run, but they're so clever at what they do. Most teams are not that clever, and that's why they're so successful.
It just looked like Nebraska was so much bigger than Colorado.
Yeah.
And what I couldn't understand is why they weren't just beating the ball right down their
Well,
throat.
when you run a
Same thing with Minnesota last week. They were
read
bigger.
on 4th and 2, Bob, you're not going to pick up the first down.
Right.
You don't
Yeah.
There were moments. There were
you
moments.
can't run a zone read with 4th and 2. They're going to close the gap. They're going to hit the back before he hits the hole. And let me tell you another play. Let me tell you another play. I'm watching the game, and they have a spread formation, but they're in the shotgun, but the back is behind the quarterback. Okay, all right. They're so wide outside. There's no way they can throw the football. So they just told the defense, "I'm running the football," and the back is behind the quarterback. It's going to take them longer to hit the line. They got stuffed on that play. I mean, that's not good when a defense can read what play's coming at them. You know, they need to be surprised at what's hitting them. So I mean, it don't look good.
Are your walls okay at your home? Did you throw anything through the wall during the game?
My wife, she's from Omaha, Nebraska. She was telling me, calm down. Hey, calm down.
So Vince, good. If we could take a few more minutes of your time, we have a few more things we want to cover with you. First of all, I leaned over to my wife this morning. I said, "Hey, honey, we've got Vince Ferragamo on the pod today," and she's like, "You mean the shoe guy?"
Yeah, my wife said the same thing.
Under a pair of shoes.
Yeah,
you know, so, Ferragamo. I have a number of pairs of shoes from the Ferragamo. They're a great brand. I'll tell you that.
So 9 years in the pros, right?
Yes.
So say 8-9 years. Yeah. Long time with the Rams.
Including a 500-yard game.
Yeah. I had 1 year in Canada at 509 against the Bears. Yeah, but that was second highest at that time. But like you said, though, you mentioned, has the game changed that much? The game is so much more wide open today. I would have loved to play in this system. Yeah, they can hit the quarterback. They can do a head slap on the offensive lineman. Defensive linemen they can't pounce on the quarterback. I mean, you know, you just it's a pass happy league now, and you can be very creative. But I tell you, the quarterback needs to get under the center. Some of these teams run entirely an offense in the shotgun. That's not going to happen. You got to get under the center at certain times. And, you know, I mean,
Great.
Be as creative
So
as you
back
want
to-
to be
back to-
creative under center. I mean, the Rams won a Super Bowl with Matt Stafford being under center. So I mean, you can't go in the shotgun the whole time.
Back to your business venture.
Yeah.
So David Max told me you sold his house in like 3 minutes.
Well, when I retired from football, Jay, I got involved in the real estate market, and I own Touchdown Real Estate. Obviously, you can tell by the name, and we have a DBA, Ferragamo Real Estate. We're also in the mortgage business. We do private lending as well, and that's kind of carried me through. I mean, I had a great background in athletics, and then I got into the business world and met some great people, and we have some great similarities with other companies, and that's how we operate. But we've been very loyal to our people and a lot of our customers. And like David, we sold David's house. He had a great home in Irvine, and that's a real expensive area, so it was easy to sell. Some houses just sell on their own, but a lot of times today you have to really work with the social media. You have to market the property correctly and make a strong effort. Nothing comes easy. I don't even care if it's sales. People think, oh, it's easy to be a realtor. No, it really isn't. You have to really get out there and understand the business and understand the market and have a great personal relationship with people.
So Bob and I also happen to be big fans of wine, and you have a winery.
Yeah. Well,
Tell us about the winery.
Jay, it's a lot of fun. We're a family-owned operation. VinceFerragamoVineyards.com if anyone's interested. We just did a wine dinner the other night. It was spectacular. We do a lot of charitable events. We did one for the Ronald McDonald House and had a great group. They loved the wines, and I paired the wines with the food. I'm actually an entry-level sommelier, so that helps. I did some studying up there at the Napa Institute, the Greystone Institute, and but I'm really kind of Italian wine intensive. So the grapes that we grow here in Orange County, which is unusual, you don't see a lot of them in Orange County. You see them more than Sonoma and Napa.
Are you in Temecula? Are you in
No,
Temecula?
we're
No.
north.
Is that where-
We're
Orange
Orange
Acres.
County. Orange County.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
I actually
You know what? Spoken like a guy from Nebraska. Are you in Temecula? No, it's Orange County.
you wouldn't believe it, but just the other day I went wine tasting at Moraga Winery, which is in downtown Los Angeles in Beverly Hills. He owns about 15 acres. So
Oh wow!
it was a fabulous winery.
Growing it in Beverly Hills.
It's in Beverly Hills. Yeah, they're doing a great job with growing grapes. They grow a Bordeaux style wine. They grow Cabernet Sauvignon. They have Petit Verdot. They have Malbec and Cabernet Franc. But I grow in Orange County. We grow Sangiovese, obviously, because it's Italian varietal, and we grow a little Cabernet and Cabernet Franc, and we do a blend. It's a super Tuscan style wine, and it's got a lot of great accolades. We've got some gold medals, and we've done a pretty good job with it. So it's a lot of fun, and it's a great food wine. It goes with a lot of our Italian meals my wife loves to cook. She's Sicilian, and so you got to be careful because you got to be real nice to her.
Wait, Vince, your wife told you to calm down, and she's Sicilian?
Yeah.
You must have been hot today. You must have been hot.
She goes, what do you want for lunch? What do you want for lunch? No, I said, okay, I'll have something. But yeah, she told me to calm down, and you better do what she said, or else you're in trouble.
Can you are the wines available in stores? Is there a club, or how would people acquire your wine?
Yeah, you can go right online. Is probably the easiest way, Bob. But on our website, VinceFerragamoVineyards.com, you can become a wine member if you like. We are a boutique winery, so we only make a specific amount of wines, probably about 600 bottles a year. That's about it. But we also have a couple other lines of wine. So, but I'll have to send you guys some, and have the people back in Nebraska. I'm sure you'll enjoy it because it
won't last. It won't last.
All right. Well, since you guys are wine lovers, I'm going to take care of you guys.
We will take that away faster than a Jepson's fumble. It's just
Last topic for you, Vince. We are both philanthropists. We make donations to a few things in Nebraska. Tell us about your foundation.
Yeah, the Ferragamo Foundation has been around for about 30-some years. I started doing a golf tournament back in 1983. I remember the year because my first daughter was born that year, and she was 1 year old and came to the golf tournament. And we raised money for the developmentally disabled and the Special Olympics program and the Speech and Language Development Center. And we generated quite a bit of money, maybe $3 million in those 30 years. And so we were real proud of that. We became one of the major fundraisers for Orange
That's
Special
awesome.
Olympics. And then my wife did a fundraiser, a luncheon for the Orange Coast Memorial Foundation at the hospital for breast cancer. And it was very successful. For 10 years we did that, and they named a wing of the hospital after her foundation. And the Ferragamo Foundation still exists today. We still do some fundraising. We still help a lot of charities out the best we can. And so it's been a way to give back to the community. I've enjoyed it. All my kids have been involved with it. I had 3 daughters. They were very active with it for some time. My oldest daughter became a pediatrician, and she still gives back. So we're just really excited about all the people we were able to help over the years. Yeah.
Well, Vince, normally Bob and I would do, just the separate segment of the podcast without the guests, but this has been so amazing. This is all we're going to do. We're just going to call it amazing. And thank you so much. And consider yourself a friend of Sunday Morning Quarterback.
Thank you.
And we would love to get out to Orange County, and Bob is already there. He lives there. But by the way, Vince, you should know this. Bob just sold his company and is building a house, bought a house here and is renovating it in Minnesota.
Oh.
So we'd like to do a dinner in California and in Minnesota.
Well,
and bring your
Ferragamo
wine.
wine dinner. That'll be great.
Just let us know what it is.
All right.
One of us will be there.
The Halloween party. Maybe
Oh.
get
I don't know if we want to publish that. We'll talk about it later. But
I'll come in a spacesuit or something. You can't recognize who I am. I love Halloween parties, by the way.
Vince, thank you so much.
With a mask on, people didn't even know who I was the whole night where I was there.
Okay, so
I love that.
Let me ask you one more question. Yeah. At this point in your life, would you rather walk through a room where no one knew who you were, or walk through a room where everyone knew who you were?
Well, I guess if I'm being honored, they better know who I am if I walk into that room. But generally speaking, I think I'd rather walk in a room nobody knew who I was. Because then I can,
I'm the same
have
way.
a little peace of mind when I'm in the room, especially like when you go somewhere to eat. But most people are really kind, and they won't disturb you when you're eating food or doing something. But afterwards, they'll come up to you. But yeah, I think most of the time everybody's pretty cognizant of that, and they treat you with a lot of respect. That's the way I would rather have my grandkids treat people with a certain amount of respect. So I think that's one thing we're lacking today. We need more of that. Good question.
Well, that's a perfect place to wrap up.
I think your grandson is what year recruit is he? Is that 2032?
Yeah, he's maybe so. Look for him down the road. He likes baseball. He's a good tennis player, so we'll see what happens. But he plays football for fun. But he's not bad. He throws the ball pretty good. So I wonder where he got that. I don't know.
Well, Vince, thank you very much, and go Big Red.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jay. Thank you, Bob.
Don't lose faith.
All right.
Don't lose faith.
Right.